to New York Giants Sports Talk and Entertainment. So, the rumor mill is running amok this evening, and the rumor mill is Dave Gettleman will soon be fired. News at 11. Breaking news. Really? Is that breaking news? Yeah, Dave Gettleman's getting fired. He's had 3 losing seasons. His team is 1-6. The talent that he's brought in has not really panned out. The Barkley issue is really not his fault. He can't blame. He can't be blamed for injuries. The Daniel Jones issue, yeah, that's gonna fall on him because he passed on Josh Allen and a bunch of other guys. But you can't sit there and say, well, it's all Dave Gettleman's fault, because it's the coach's fault, it's the player's fault, it's the ownership's fault. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of back in the day when it was Tom Coughlin, his fault. It was then the offense. Well, first it was the offensive coordinator's fault, and it was the defense coordinator's fault, and it was Tom Coughlin's fault, and it was Jerry Reese's fault. We are just looking again for excuses. This is an organizational failure. This is not just a Dave Gettleman failure. Yes, Dave Gettleman is 1-6, like we've said. He's had 3 bad seasons in a row. He brought in Pat Shurmur, which was a bad hire. But you can't sit there and solely throw this at the feet of Dave Gettleman. It's again the Giants ownership is looking to move the blame off everyone but themselves. And that's all it is to it. This would not be an issue if Daniel Jones was playing better, and this would not be an issue if Saquon Barkley didn't get hurt, and Leonard Williams was playing at a Pro Bowl level, and all of his draft picks, started. Andrew Thomas wasn't playing bad. Will Hernandez wasn't playing terribly. B.J. Hill was playing up to expectations. Lorenzo Carter didn't get hurt. There's a lot of ifs in all of these statements. The Shurmur hire, yes, that falls strictly on Gettleman. The Judge hire, I think, is more of a Gettleman organizational choice. I think it was more of an ownership choice. But we're not looking at the Tishes and the Maras. We're just, what the problem is? And again, this is something the Giants organization did in the 70s and early 80s. They blamed everything on everybody else and never looked at ownership. It took John Mara to basically turn around and go to Pete Rozelle and said, we need to hire a good general manager. Who can the league recommend that we hire so we can get out of this conundrum that we are in? And he told him, hire George Young. And that's what they did. And the rest is history. 2 Super Bowls later. And it's kind of the same thing going back to the Ernie Accorsi days. We ran through a rough patch. Ernie Accorsi brought in the free agents and the quarterback to win the 2007 Super Bowl. And of course, some give Jerry Reese the credit for that Super Bowl. I give Jerry Reese the credit for the draft class for that Super Bowl, but I do not give him the credit for the quarterback and the free agents that were brought in. But he helped turn the organization around. And then we're going to kind of go back to the 70s again with Jerry Reese. Now, everything was Jerry Reese's. First, it was Tom Coughlin's fault. Well, first it was Kevin Gilbride's fault, and then we brought in McAdoo. Then it was Perry Fuel's fault, and we brought in what's his name? We brought Spags back. Then it was Jerry Reese's fault. Tom Coughlin's fault. Then it was Jerry Reese's fault. All this falls at the feet of ownership. You can blame Dave Gettleman all you want. Because yes, he did the Odell Beckham signing. He made the Odell Beckham trade. He came out and said we didn't trade him. We didn't sign him to trade him, and we traded him. But there are some good things that he has done in the organization, even recently with James Bradbury and Blake Martinez, and some of his draft choices are, Darnay Holmes is starting to pay off. He was a later round pick. There's other guys that, that are turning the corner a little bit. He's had more misses than he's had hits on his draft choices. But the team is 1-6, but you know, they've been a competitive 1-6. And that's always been a stupid statement, because you're 1-6, you're 1-6 for a reason. But like I said, this to me is an entire organizational issue. This is not just let this all fall on Dave Gettleman. And it's going to fall on Dave Gettleman. And then we're going to bring in another New England Messiah. We have Joe, and the only reason that we're looking at this guy in New England is because of the fact that no high quality professional general manager is going to want to take over an organization where they cannot pick their head coach. So we need to find someone that's on board with Joe Judge. And I'm sorry, the New England model has not worked very well outside of New England. Because it's not the New England model. It's the Belichick model. You are taking these guys out of that organization, but Bill Belichick is the one that makes them look like geniuses. Just look at New England's track record. How many Super Bowls have New England coaches and player personnel guys won? How many playoff games? We need to stop thinking. We think short-sighted as an organization. We don't think like we should. We don't think, well, you know what? Maybe we just need a complete overhaul. If you want to go outside and get a guy that's outside the system, that's fine. But like I said, any guy who has any experience and any quality experience is going to turn down the Giants job because they're not going to be able to pick their head coach. Are they going to be allowed to pick their rest of their inner office personnel? Are they going to be able to pick their scouts? I'm not into this. I keep hating all these changes. And honestly, like I said, and then it's going to laugh. 2 years from now, let's say Andrew Thomas turns it around, Matt Perrette turns it around. All these guys that we drafted and lay around become all pros. And the people are going to be whining for Dave Gettleman. Oh my God, why did we get rid of Dave Gettleman? Look at all the guys he brought in. It just kills me. It's like the Omar Minaya situation with the Mets. Everyone hated Omar Minaya, but he brought in a lot of talent through the draft. It took some while for that talent to reach the major league level, but he is the architect of some of the talent that the Mets have. So my thing is, we can't keep looking for these and a lot of times I think that's what it is. We're looking for Band-Aids. We're looking for these Band-Aid fixes, and we're always finding the next guy that's going to be awesome. How about we just find an established general manager? Maybe try to lure somebody away from a team with a proven winning track record instead of saying, we're bringing in this new guy and he's going to be awesome because he was with Belichick in New England. Unless you're bringing in Bill Belichick, I don't want to hear it. Because like I said, all these geniuses in New England are geniuses because of Bill Belichick. And I think that's what we need to focus on. We need to go our own way. We can't follow the New England model. We need to follow the model of the New York Football Giants, whatever that may be, and ownership has got to step up. Ownership has got to step up or get the hell out of the way. That's one of my favorite quotes from Bazooka Joe Gum. Lead, follow, or get the hell out of my way. And that's what we need to do as an organization. We need to stop worrying about what someone's doing someplace else. We need to turn the key, open the door, kick all the trash out, and start over again. Because we're probably going to finish like 2-14, if we're lucky. And I'm hoping I'm dead wrong on that. But we can't keep going through this vicious cycle over and over again. It's just not working as an organization. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, maybe subscribe, and ring that bell, I think you know what that means. That'd be awesome.